Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. 11 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Monday morning, the 23rd day of June already, 2025. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE, 90.9 FM over the airwaves here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, we broadcast at 103.3 FM. And if you're listening to my voice from anywhere else on Earth, you've gone to our website to do that, ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers who are joining us this morning. The video of this program is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So welcome aboard, everyone. So glad that you are joining us this morning, because coming up, we've got a lot of information to share with you about an upcoming event that's happening later on this week here at San Juan College, the MMIP Legal Day that is happening. We'll also be talking to one of the folks involved with that from Four Corners K-9 Search and Rescue and the work that they do in our area. That is coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Later on this hour, as we do on Mondays, it's our technology segment on Technology News Monday Reboot. That's coming your way today at 8:50 a.m. here on KSJE. Then, of course, Mick Hess is going to take us roving with the arts. That is our long-running weekday classical music program. That's coming your way an hour from now at 9:06 on KSJE. A reminder, you can also connect with us on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And if you're a podcast listener, we invite you to subscribe for free to KSJE Podcasts. You'll find them where you're already listening to podcasts, so check it out, subscribe, and maybe discover a new local program that you may have missed recently. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it's a sunny Monday morning, 61 degrees at the moment. It's going to be a sunny Monday today with a high of 85 in Farmington. Partly cloudy overnight tonight with a low near 70, not too cool overnight. Sunshine again tomorrow with a little bit of clouds and a high of 84 on Tuesday. Partly cloudy, 82 on Wednesday. Sunshine returns with 87 on Thursday, 89 by Friday, and back to 90 degrees for the weekend. Overnight lows, as you can see, in the mid to lower 60s. I'll be back with my guest with more right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The most important ingredients to sustaining health and wellness are the resources and tools that help you live a vibrant and healthy life. At San Juan Regional Medical Center, the goal is to promote health by making sure those resources are available. Find the path to the best life at lifebetterhere.com. San Juan Regional Medical Center. Better is our mission, improving lives through personalized health and care.
Ahead, turn right.
Isn't it nice to have a little help getting where you're going?
Your destination is ahead and 300 feet.
When navigating life's challenges, the San Juan County Navigation Center can help you with navigating housing, navigating transportation, navigating medical providers, and more. Learn more online at sjcnavigate.net or call 505-636-7110. The Navigation Center, connecting to resources, empowering lives.
You have arrived at your destination.
And back in Studio A with my guest this morning, as I mentioned, Bernadine Beyale is here. She is with Four Corners K-9 Search and Rescue. Great to have you back here in the studio. Good morning, and thanks for coming in.
Good morning, Scott. Thanks for having me here again.
You bet, you bet. As we talk about this event that's coming up later on this week here at San Juan College, the Legal Day for MMIP, I want to talk a little bit about your organization because it plays a big role in many of these cases and working with these families. And so it's really important, I think, to get the word out about these other resources that are going to be available this week at this event. But talk to me about your organization to start.
Our organization is a K-9 Search and Rescue organization. A lot of people confuse us because they hear rescue and K-9. They think we take dogs in.
You're right.
And as much as a dog lover as I am, I wish I could take them in, but we're not a K-9 rescue. We do search and rescue. So,
But you use canines in your search and rescues, right?
Yes. We have two K-9s, Gunny and Moby. Gunny's a Czech Shepherd, and Moby is a British Labrador. And a lot of our work's done on the Navajo Nation in regards to missing murdered Indigenous people.
Right. And that's a lot of work. You get a lot of calls. We were talking before we came on the air this morning about this tragedy and problem on the reservation and elsewhere, but it really seems to be more so on the reservation.
Yes, it is. The statistics we keep, part of it is calls versus missions.
Right.
And so this year in 2025, we are actually at 52 phone calls, and those are just calls with families needing assistance. They go through sort of an intake process, and not every phone call we get turns into a mission because we need viable facts, evidence to see if there's enough info that the team and the K-9s can work off of to turn this into a mission.
Right, understood. And so how does that compare to like last year, for example? Because we're only halfway through 2025, so what does that look like?
So we're at 62 phone calls, and we're already at 30 missions. So of those 62 phone calls, 30 of them we could turn into a mission. Last year, we were 62, around 60, actually 70 phone calls, and we went on 35 missions.
For the full year?
Yeah, for the full year,
Okay.
and we're already at 30
Wow.
As of June.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. That's a lot. And so when you decide to turn a call into a mission, you've got enough information, or law enforcement maybe has reached out to you because you work very closely with them as well. What does that entail then? How big of a search and rescue team do you have to go out, or does it depend on the geography or what have you?
So we have 9 team members that are, of our 9, 6 of them are certified, so they have the complete certifications in FEMA, the National Association of Search and Rescue. They have to certify in first aid, CPR, stop the bleed, and then they go through other hands-on training. So of the 9, they're always not all available because they all come from different areas. Some
Right.
are in Arizona, some are in New Mexico. So it just depends on who's available. Sometimes it might just be me and the K-9s available because no one else is. But, it just depends on the area, location, terrain, like you said. Time of day is very important because now that we're in summer, it's hotter.
Right.
And summertime usually seems to be our busy season. And because of that, we have to leave super early in the morning to a lot of these places we have to go.
Right. That makes sense, certainly. And so for your families that you're working with sometimes too, right? Do they sometimes want to gather people to help, but is that a good thing, or just because they don't have the training that your teams do, can that be well-meaning but maybe not the best place for their resources?
Yes, it's good and bad, and it just depends. The whole reason why we started this organization is so we could do this work for the families, so they don't have to be out there.
Yeah.
1, being out there by themselves without support. 2 is the whole safety factor in it. I would hate for anything to happen to them, or they get hurt themselves, or lose another person out there getting lost. And the other main important piece of this too is the mental part of it. If something's ever found out there, most families aren't ready to see what they might see.
Sure.
So I would prefer them to stay back and let us do the work for them. But because we're not available all the time, 24/7, 365, or law enforcement not be available, of course, as a family with a missing relative, if no one's there to help me, I'd probably be out there too myself. So
Right.
if you have to, we started doing these training sessions for families on how to be safe out there if you have to go out, if you're planning to go out on your own.
Gotcha. And so a family could reach out to you to try to get some of that training, and you would offer that to them.
Yes, they can reach out to us, and we try to do it in big groups, or we try to work with other organizations like Coalition to Stop Violence Against Native Women has helped us in that aspect of putting a place together, a time, and providing the food for it, and just registering families for those types of events.
Got you. And just one more question about the search and rescue work that you do. How amazing are your dogs?
Oh my gosh, they are such hard workers, and I just got invited to Arizona last month to do a presentation. It's probably the one presentation that's one of a kind, because they said, talk to us about how the dogs work. How do they do what they do? So, and I always tell people there's a science behind them. Like there's major science, the airflow, how their nose works with their brain. And one of the most interesting pieces I was telling this group is, we go to work every day and we get a paycheck. We are, after our 40 hours or 80 hours, we're working for that. But guess what these guys are working for? And they're doing mileage, they're in the sun, they're in the rain, they're in the cold. So what's their pay, And
right.
it's a ball.
That's the motivation,
reward.
that's the pay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's their payment for the work they're doing out there.
Dogs are awesome. Yeah.
They
that's
totally
amazing.
are.
And of course they have some training. And so do you, right, to handle them as well. And that's kind of how that all works, right? To get them into that job you want them to do for that reward that they want to get at the end.
Yes. So Gunny does live find and human remains detection. Moby is mainly human remains detection, and it's also known as cadaver dog.
Right.
So every day they have work to do. It's not just a once a week thing. Oh, I'm going to take them out tomorrow and then maybe Friday. No. It's an everyday job, taking them out, working with sources, working with odor, working with them in different times of the day, because it's never a perfect scenario that I'm going to get a call to go out at 6 a.m., maybe an hour away. No, I might get a call at 2 p.m. and it's 90 degrees outside.
Right.
So I have to really work them in different temperatures, different terrain. So they do a lot.
They do, no kidding, for sure. And I'm sure they've been very helpful in many of your missions too, right? The dogs have really done work that maybe some of your human searchers wouldn't be able to do.
Yes, they can cover so much more terrain than we do. Their olfactory senses are like a million times stronger than us, and those are senses we have in our nose. So they can smell things. It could be miles away, depending if there's a breeze flowing to them or there's no breeze at all. And they can crawl up into rocks, small places that they need to smell out. They can go up tall inclines that we can't get to. So they're our specialized source in all of this. And I appreciate them so much. And we just don't know how lucky we are to have them, as pets or as working dogs, because they're super smart.
Right. Very, very true. Very true. Well, with that work that you are doing and this issue that we have here in our area and elsewhere too, but as you said, a lot of these calls come from the reservation, and a lot of these calls are from these missing indigenous people, both men and women, I think, too. This event has come to the foreground here at San Juan College this week, and that's the other reason to have you here this week to talk about this event coming up on Saturday, which is the MMIP Legal Day. And so your organization is involved, of course, along with some others, to kind of try to get families in touch with legal representation, maybe ask questions, get questions answered, those types of things. Is that what this event is hopefully trying to do?
Yes, it is. And we've partnered with DNA People's Legal Services, and they are a 501c3 nonprofit legal organization that provides free legal services to low-income people who cannot afford to hire their own attorneys. And what we're doing with this day is there's going to be different presentations throughout the day, like probate, guardianship, family law, tax law. We're going to have a private investigator come so he can talk about what to look for in a private investigator, what to watch out for when families are doing that. And then a presentation on burial assistance. So there'll be quite a bit of presentations that day, but as we are out in the field with these families, we sit in the living room with some of them, or we're out in the field with some of them, and they're always talking to you about what they haven't got help with. And, although we're not a legal entity or have any experience in it,
right.
It always sits at the back of my head of, man, they really need this help, and I don't see anyone doing anything to help them in that aspect. So this idea kind of came up like a year ago, and we met up with DNA People's Legal Services, and we said, hey, this is what we want to do. How can you guys help us out? So they've been such a big help in all of this, and so we really appreciate all of it.
Right, very good. And again, I think your message is well meaning, because you've got law enforcement and they have their mission. You have you guys and you've got your mission. And when it comes to a legal standpoint, there really isn't anyone maybe involved with that goal in mind, and so that's where these families have these questions, perhaps.
Yeah. So one good example is you have some grandparents who mom or dad is missing, so they're caring for the children.
Right.
So how can you find this support or resources for grandma and grandpa to care for these kids? That's where guardianship might come in. You have spouses whose maybe husband or wife was murdered and now they're left with kids. You know, how do we help them find the support they need in that? And then tax laws, really, we just added that a couple weeks ago, which was interesting because I didn't even think about that until someone brought it up. Like, well, some of these families have to figure out the taxes of the missing person. What do you do with that? So with all us coming to the table, it's really brought a lot of good information. We'll also have a medical investigator there.
Right.
So, you know, with medical investigations, we don't know about all the tests that can be done on remains or on a person, and no one understands that. So we're really excited to have her. And I'm missing the main point of all this is the legal jargon.
True.
Like, a lot of families don't know, what does pro bono mean? What does free consultation mean? What is it I really need to ask when I pick up that phone to find myself an attorney or somebody? So we're going to do basic legal jargon for this event.
Very good. Very important. And this is a free event for folks to attend, is it not?
Yes, it's free, and it's for families with a missing or murdered relative. And that's who we're really trying to attract. And, you know, a lot of families live in remote areas, so radio is probably something they listen to daily. So we're hoping that doing this, we can reach some of those families that are out in remote areas that don't even know about this event.
Right, right. And it's coming up this Saturday, to be clear, here at San Juan College. It's from 8:30 till 4. And again, a free event with lots of professionals from their fields coming in to provide this free information for these families. I would imagine this could spark some really, maybe some difficult conversations for some families who have missing loved ones, and maybe they're still holding out hope that even though they're missing, that they're going to be found or something's going on. And so, but to have these conversations about, well, what if they're not? Then what do we need to do legally and things like that? That's an important conversation, albeit difficult, but an important conversation to have.
Yes. So this is our first event we're doing. So we're probably not going to answer everybody's questions that they have, but we want to use this event to figure out what are those questions you didn't get answered. And let's figure out, do we need to do another event, or is that more one-on-one time with the family with us? And we won't have all law enforcement at this event. I know for sure we'll have Farmington PD there. We'll also have like OMI grief services there to help with the event. But this is just to put real tools in the family's hands, you know, knowledge, legal resources, and connections, so that they can feel empowered and not helpless, because most of the times families are just left without guidance or support. So we're hoping this event is a stepping stone, and is a stepping stone for other organizations to say, hey, this is a great idea. We need to start doing this ourselves. Right.
Very true. And even if they can't get their questions answered that day, they may meet someone who knows someone who might be able to get them in touch to get their question answered. And so I think it's a great networking opportunity too, if you still have questions or still have some frustrations, to come to this event to talk to people who maybe know what to do or know someone who knows what to do.
Yes, definitely. So there'll be like 20 to 30 minute presentations throughout the day. At the end of the day, we'll have like an hour or so where families are free to talk to each other or go visit the resource tables. And again, they might meet somebody who says, I know who exactly you need to talk to, so
Right.
I'm going to send you their information and put you in contact with them. So
There you go.
I'm hoping they all get to leave at the end of the day with something. You know, we might not answer everything, but at least we can put this out there for them. And again, putting tools on their tool belt so they don't feel helpless out there.
Well, it almost seems to me like a support group, if you will, and maybe these families will realize that there are other families going through similar situations and know that they're not alone, and there are others maybe that they could reach out to or connect with too to talk about some of their fears and challenges and questions and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. You might already have some families who found their relative and have already had burial services for them, but now they're fighting for justice. So you have
Yeah.
families at different levels. So, and you might have a family here who's just starting that process. So, you know, I think the best resource for most of them is other families going through the same thing, and they can share their information and knowledge with each other.
Yeah, very, very true. We are showing the poster on the screen right now. If you are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, there is a QR code. You can point your phone at that. You're asking folks to register, I guess, to just get a count of how many are going to be there?
Yes. So the registration process is for families, and it's going to ask them like quite a bit of questions. Who your missing relative is? Do you have a police report? Who's it filed with? So we're really asking them to fill that out so we know, so we have an idea of what it is they're looking for when they get there.
Sure.
But yes, please register if you can. But for those people who don't have a computer or have a way to register, if you call me at 505-947-7414, I will get you registered.
Right. We can do that. And that's for anyone who's watching on video or listening on the radio. So, and I'll repeat that phone number too. You said it was 505-947-7414 is the number to call. Don't call her right now because she's on the radio, but just wait a few minutes. But then you will get registered to go for this event on Saturday.
Yes, definitely. And even advocates, we were kind of limiting this just to families, but
Right.
advocates who deal with MMIP families that are like, hey, these guys have this great event with resources that we get questions about, we would like to attend.
Got it. And they should register too?
Yes, register too as well.
Okay, very good to know. Good to know. And again, this is going to be happening here at San Juan College in Farmington on Saturday, and we encourage you to spread the word too. If maybe your family has not been impacted by this tragedy, maybe you know someone or neighbor, please pass the word, because this is going to have some really good resources for folks to get connected with, and so that's the whole point of this event. And this is the first one you've done.
Yes, our first one, and from a lot of the feedback I've been getting, we might have to hold another one, but the issue is, you know, we don't get consistent funding to put events on like this. So the most thing I'm proud of about this event is everything that has gone into it is all volunteer. The
Nice.
people showing up are all volunteering their time. I didn't have to compensate anybody, so that's how it should be, you know?
Right.
And I hope we can do another one, and it's the same thing. People stepping forward and say, hey, I will volunteer my time for this event to give
Yeah.
a presentation.
That's great. Well, congrats. And I think that says a lot about you and your organization too, and people know that you have the credibility and the work that you've done, that when you call and ask them to show up, they'll show up.
Yes, exactly. And that's all these families want. Someone for us to show up and just listen.
Right. Very true. Some of the topics, again, just to wrap up here, we just have a couple minutes remaining this morning to talk about this MMIP Legal Day on Saturday. But probate law, family law, protection orders, guardianship, tax law, all those are topics that are going to be covered. And again, just explaining even just kind of what those terms mean, if you're not familiar, or the other legal jargon that you may hear, that's another important resource, I think, to have. And so to be able to just sit down and maybe ask questions and listen to these presentations to see kind of what may be able to help you in your specific situation for your family. That's what this is about.
Yes, it is. So it's a lot of good topics are going to be covered that day. So I really hope, I think we've had like 20 or so families registered so far. And so I'm hoping to get a few more because we've added a few extra topics, like I said, private
Right.
investigation,
Right.
OMI, a medical investigator. So those would be really good ones in the afternoon.
Even more. So very good. Where on campus is it going to be held?
So at the Henderson Fine Arts Center.
Right. Probably those 9,000 rooms over there?
The 9,000 rooms, correct.
Okay. So for folks who are coming to campus, you're going to be towards the kind of front side of the campus off of College Boulevard, is that side where the Henderson Fine Arts Center is in those 9,000 rooms. But wherever you show up, we'll be able to get you to the right location. So that's the event. But it's a full day event. Will there be some food for folks if they're going to spend the whole day with us?
Yes, we're going to feed families that register for this event. So we'll have little breakfast items in the morning and a really good lunch and snacks in the afternoon.
Sounds great. So once again, but you do need to be registered so you can have a count, so know how much food to have. And so you can do that online. The poster is there, or you can call, again, that number 505-947-7414, and Bernadine will get you registered. She promised, and so that will happen as well. But it's coming up this Saturday. We hope you'll spread the word, and we want to reach as many families who've been impacted by these tragedies as we can, to let them know that there is help available. There are people who out there who want to help, and there are ways to connect. And so that's the important message that we're wanting to get out this morning. So.
Yes, it is. And thank you so much for that. And again, we're hoping that this is a stepping stone for other people to see that they can host more of these out there on the Navajo Nation or surrounding communities. But I think any kids or young adults that are in law school, like this would be great if any of them could reach out as well and say, how can we help going forward?
Right. Very smart. And so very important, again, for these families that have been impacted. We hope this provides a lot of information and maybe a little bit of closure, or maybe giving you back some power to kind of figure out what's going on. And that would be a success as well, I think, for these families who've been impacted by these tragedies.
Yeah, definitely. You said it there, Scott.
Okay. Bernadine Beyale, thank you for coming in this morning. Thank you for the work that you and your organization does in our area. We really appreciate it. It's always great to visit with you. Thanks so much.
Yep. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. My guest this morning here on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.